Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about what's been going on inside of the sticker market. Now if you've looked inside of the sticker market as of recently, specifically Stockholm and Antwerp, you can obviously see that the prices are down. However, this is not the case in other areas, specifically the case market. If we want to look at the case market, it's not specifically thriving at this point, but you can see that case prices generally have leveled out and are potentially starting to slowly increase or just staying the same at this point. So what's been happening inside of the sticker market, we'll talk a little bit more after a quick word from today's sponsor. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now SkinsMonkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now SkinsMonkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there. And they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much SkinsMonkey. Make sure you use in the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. The first thing I want to focus in on inside of the sticker market is that we were 100% correct in our assumption that we made in a past video. We basically said that we expect Antwerp to be hit the hardest by this because Paris and Antwerp are currently competing for the same market share. That's exactly what we're seeing. If we want to look at Antwerp prices, we can see that they have continued to decline. And in fact, they've also kind of sparked a little bit of an interesting thing we're going to talk about in a little bit. But if we want to look to, generally speaking, Stockholm prices, they seem to appear to be leveling out at this point. Obviously, they've still seen both a massive decrease in this area. However, it seems like Antwerp is still potentially on the decrease, while Stockholm has started to level out a little bit, which is exactly what we expected to see. However, the future in this area still remains quite uncertain. We don't know explicitly what's going to happen because, one, we haven't seen that 75% off still yet, which a lot of people are looking towards to be a very large indicator of what's going to happen with the future of this area. But two, we've also continued to see these Antwerp capsules decrease, which I mentioned previously, but I don't want to understate how big of a deal this is. Obviously, we know demand for Stockholm and Antwerp has plummeted ever since the Paris stickers have released, but I don't think too many people expected Antwerp to be going down to this low of a level, potentially 40 cents per capsule, which even raises potentially the question of what price point do people start looking at Antwerp over Paris. Obviously, it's not at this point yet because we've continued to see these capsules decrease, but if the time comes up where people are seeing Antwerp and Paris for the exact same price, I would be willing to assume most people are going to opt for Antwerp because we know the supply on these capsules. Now that is obviously a little bit of a pushing it kind of statement because we're still seeing a lot of these capsules extremely profitable compared to any real world investment. If you want to look at something you would in the real world expect to see maybe 12 to 15% on a very good gainer, whereas you can see all of the Antwerp capsules are sitting much higher than that, especially if you bought in at like the 17-cent price point. You got to remember about the Antwerp capsules. They were sitting below their retail price for a significant amount of time and only went above that once we saw the Rio stickers come out. That's because obviously they had set the precedent, they being Valve, that we were seeing borderless after borderless sticker, and no one knew if we were going to see a third iteration of these borderless stickers. Now looking into when potentially these capsules could rebound is a very tough statement because obviously, one, it depends on the Paris sale, which we mentioned, but two, it also is very dependent on the overall market. If you want to look at these capsules currently, specifically Antwerp and Stockholm, you can see that the ROIs are actually not too bad. In fact, a 70% ROI could be a little bit higher because we can see that 47-cent price point, which is slightly outdated. These capsules are definitely in a position where we could see some unboxer demand start to pick up. But the thing is, the reason that ROI got so high is because there currently is not any unboxer demand. We can see this in other areas of CSGO, how things that don't really get unboxed too often have an ROI that's quite close to 100%, sometimes even over 100%. That's just because no one's interested in opening them up, so the overall market adjusts to it, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with some of the Antwerp capsules. For me, what's been going on is so interesting because we've actually seen the Champions autograph capsule become a viable investment once again, legitimately just because it's different. If we want to look at the past statistics, it was always the cheapest capsule, but now it's sitting middle of the pack for Antwerp, and obviously it's still the cheapest for Stockholm, but that's also a little bit of a different story. Very interesting development on that front. Now talking about when we might see some interest in this area, it's obviously not now. We've got the Paris sale coming up, and even during the duration of the Paris sale, I would highly expect a lot of the interest to be on Paris specifically. Antwerp and Stockholm are in a fine long-term position, but they don't have the demand right now, and that's exactly what the CSGO market operates off of, is where the interest is as the overall community. And right now it's just not with these stickers, because we got brand new stickers. We got stickers that we haven't seen in a decent amount of time, talking like the Mouse Hollow. We haven't seen the sticker in potentially a year at like an affordable price. In my position, I think there's definitely going to be something that comes along and picks up these stickers from the current downfall-ish that they're in, but I don't know if that's going to be relatively soon. In fact, that's something I mentioned in my previous video where I talked about how I was picking up a couple of these capsules as a little bit of my investing series, but basically I said I didn't expect to see any real growth for these for a decent amount of time. That's just because it's not where the interest of the overall market is, and it's probably not going to be where the interest of the overall market is until we start to hit that 10-month span, because obviously we have a 10-month difference between this major and the next one in Copenhagen in 2024. That's a very significant difference in time instead of the normal 6 months, which is already quite long, especially because we have CS2 on the horizon. We don't know if the sticker sale is going to be as long as some of the previous ones. I definitely expect it to be, but there is also that question that comes along with that. Now, coming down to the question of what specifically should you do in this situation, there's a couple paths you can take. The first of which is going to be just selling off your capsules. It's not one I would specifically recommend, but if you are fully invested into these capsules, meaning you have no money to invest elsewhere, it's probably not the most ideal position to be in. It's like most specific CSGO investments. If you really need the liquidity now, it's not going to be the worst time to sell, but in my opinion, I think there's definitely more optimal times to sell, and this is exactly why planning is so important inside of CSGO investing, because you could have had a lot more. The other option is what I'm specifically doing at this time, which is just going to be holding off on these capsules. I think it's quite bland, but also in my opinion it's probably the best play if you have a decent amount of liquidity. I've got some money to mess around with when it comes to Paris, when it comes to every other investment that comes into the game, and it's not one at this point where I really am too scared about the super long-term future. There's a lot of exclusive stickers when we talk about Stockholm and Antwerp that still are not seen in obviously the Paris stickers. You want to talk about overlappings, there's definitely more than enough overlappings, but there also is specifically different things about these capsules. Stockholm specifically, you've got your hollows and foils. Hollows are a purple tier instead of the pink tier, making them much easier to get, leaving a lot more value to potentially be had with Stockholm capsules, which is why they've leveled out at this point. Talking about Antwerp, you still got specific stickers, teams that had a lot of value beforehand, and even though they don't have any direct competition in the form of another sticker of that same team inside of Paris, we've still seen a significant drop off for these stickers. Since we're on the topic of all of these things, I do want to point out one quick thing. This number represented as being 1.5 million people watching this tournament is just absolutely wrong. It does not include the numbers from Blast TV, which is where I was personally watching because I don't want to watch through Twitch's ads. Something I just want you to know. Now, as with every video I make, I'm not trying to direct you into one specific investment. I'm trying to tell you there still is opportunities wherever you look inside of CSGO investing, and I really think you should at least give them the time of day to look into them. But that's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.